Imagine a face obscured by a green apple, a bowler-hatted man staring out with silent defiance. The Son of Man, painted by Magritte in 1964, hooks you with a chilling mystery. Is this self-portrait a mask of identity, or a cry against the unseen? Whispers suggest Magritte painted it as a personal riddle, a reflection of his own hidden depths, daring us to look closer. Let's peel back the layers. Magritte created this in his Brussels studio, a modest space filled with the hum of post-war recovery in 1964, when he was 66 and nearing the end of his life. His emotional state was a tangle of nostalgia and existential unease, inspired by his surrealist roots and the memory of his mother's tragic suicide in 1912, her face veiled by water, an image that haunted him. Obsessed with challenging perception, he struggled with declining health and the weight of fame, painting with a deliberate slowness to distill his thoughts. This work, some say, was a final self-examination, a confrontation with the man behind the mask, crafted amid the quiet ticking of a clock marking time's relentless march. The artistic process was a surreal ballet of illusion. Magritte wielded oil on canvas with a magician's finesse, layering muted greens for the apple, crisp blacks for the suit, and a soft gray sky, creating a composition that balances the familiar and the absurd. His brushstrokes, precise and smooth, craft the bowler hat and coat with photographic realism, while the apple's placement, slightly off-center, disrupts the symmetry, drawing the eye to the unseen face. Unique features emerge. The apple's glossy surface reflects light like a mirror, hinting at a hidden gaze, achieved through subtle glazing that adds depth, as if the canvas breathes with withheld secrets. The tension between the man's pose and the obstruction creates a cinematic pull, inviting you to question reality itself. Historically, 1964 Belgium was a nation rebuilding after World War II, its art scene buzzing with surrealism's lingering influence amid Cold War tensions. Magritte, shaped by Dada and Freudian psychology, reflected a society grappling with identity and illusion, influenced by the post-war fascination with the subconscious. Socially, it mirrored the era's existential angst, where the everyday, suits, apples, became a stage for deeper truths, challenging the consumerist facade of the 1960s. Symbolism runs deep. The apple might represent forbidden knowledge or the fall, the obscured face a metaphor for hidden identity or societal masks, while the suit evokes conformity. Interpreters see it as Magritte's self-portrait of alienation, a meditation on visibility versus invisibility, or a critique of how we see others. Some whisper it's a tribute to his mother, her veiled face reborn in this enigmatic figure, a personal wound painted in silence. When unveiled, the Son of Man puzzled and intrigued, with 1960s critics split. Some lauded its wit, others deemed it cryptic. Exhibited widely, it gained cult status, its legacy exploding with pop culture nods like the 1999 film The Thomas Crown Affair. Today it's a surreal icon, influencing advertising and film, a timeless riddle that lingers at the Magritte Museum, challenging us to see beyond the surface. Close your eyes. Feel the apple's cool weight, hear the rustle of the suit, see the unseen eyes pierce through. This is more than a portrait, it's a mirror to the soul. Magritte's brush whispers, behind every face, a mystery waits. Will you dare to uncover it or turn away? Picture a man staring into a mirror, his back to us, yet his reflection shows the same back, a paradox that defies logic. Not to be reproduced, painted by Magritte in 1937, hooks you with a surreal enigma. Why does this man refuse to reveal his face, and what does the mirror conceal? Some say it was Magritte's response to a friend's request for a portrait, a playful yet profound rejection. Let's step into this hall of mirrors. Magritte crafted this in his Paris studio during a stormy 1937, a year of personal and artistic ferment at age 39. His emotional state was a mix of defiance and melancholy, inspired by the surrealist movement's challenge to reality and his ongoing obsession with perception's limits, sparked by his mother's veiled death. Struggling with financial instability and the rise of fascism across Europe, he painted with a restless energy, each stroke a rebellion against the visible world. This work, some suggest, was a meditation on identity, born from a commission that became a philosophical statement, painted amid the clatter of rain against his window. The process was a hypnotic dance of deception. Magritte applied oil on canvas with a draftsman's precision, layering deep reds for the carpet, muted greens for the walls, and a stark black suit, creating a composition that traps the eye in a loop of reflection. His brushstrokes, clean and deliberate, render the room with photographic clarity, while the mirror's impossible image, achieved through meticulous perspective, defies logic, a unique feature that warps reality. The tension between the man's stillness and the mirror's betrayal builds a cinematic unease, as if the painting watches you back, its surface humming with unspoken questions. Historically, 1937 Europe trembled under the shadow of World War II's approach, with surrealism flourishing as an escape from political despair. Magritte, influenced by Giorgio de Chirico's metaphysical art and Freud's theories, reflected a society questioning truth amid propaganda and censorship. Socially, it mirrored the era's existential crisis, where identity became a fragile construct, challenging the viewer to confront their own reflection. Symbolism pulses through. The mirror might signify self-deception or the unattainable self, the back-turned figure a metaphor for hidden truths or isolation, while the room's emptiness hints at existential void. Interpreters see it as Magritte's critique of portraiture, a personal exploration of his own invisibility, or a universal meditation on seeing versus knowing. Some suggest it's a nod to his mother, her veiled face and eternal mystery mirrored here. Initially not to be reproduced baffled 1930s audiences, with critics praising its ingenuity but struggling to grasp its intent, exhibited in surrealist circles to mixed reviews. Its legacy grew, influencing postmodern art and films like The Matrix, becoming a staple at the Museum Boijmans van Beuningen. Today it challenges perception, a silent enigma that reshapes how we see. Close your eyes. Feel the carpet's texture underfoot, hear the mirror's silent laugh, see the back that stares back. This is more than art, it's a riddle unsolved. Magritte's hand lingers, whispering, in the reflection find your truth, or lose yourself to the endless loop. Imagine two lovers locked in an embrace, their faces shrouded in cloth, a kiss forever denied. The Lovers, painted by René Magritte in 1928, hooks you with a heartbreaking mystery. Are they united or trapped, and what keeps them apart? Some claim it was inspired by his mother's suicide, her face covered by her dress as she was pulled from the river, a memory that fueled this haunting image. Let's unravel their veiled passion. Magritte created this in his Brussels studio in 1928, a pivotal year at age 30 as he honed his surrealist voice. His emotional state was a storm of grief and rebellion, inspired by the Surrealist Manifesto and his obsession with subverting love's clichés, rooted in his mother's tragic death. Struggling with financial woes and the art world's indifference, he painted with a raw intensity, each stroke a confrontation with loss. This work, some suggest, was a personal elegy, painted amid the creak of his attic floor, the memory of her veiled face a constant shadow. The process was a tender yet unsettling weave. Magritte applied oil on canvas with a poet's care, layering soft grays, muted greens and the stark white of the cloths, creating a composition that balances intimacy and alienation. His brushstrokes, smooth and controlled, render the lovers' suits and the cloth's folds with eerie realism, while the obscured faces, achieved through subtle shading, create a void that pulls the eye. Unique features include the cloth's texture, almost tangible as it presses against their lips, building a cinematic tension that feels like a held breath, the painting pulsing with suppressed emotion. Historically, 1928 Europe was a surrealist hotbed, reacting to the mechanized horrors of World War I, with Magritte influenced by Dada's absurdity and Freud's unconscious. Socially, it mirrored the era's shifting views on love and identity, challenging romantic ideals amid the roaring 20s hedonism, reflecting his own complex marriage to Georgette. Symbolism runs deep. The cloth might signify death's veil or communication's barrier, the kiss a metaphor for love's impossibility or eternal longing, while their embrace hints at unity and isolation. Interpreters see it as Magritte's tribute to his mother, a meditation on lost connection, or a universal exploration of love's limits. Some suggest it's a critique of societal masks, love obscured by convention. Initially, The Lovers shocked 1920s viewers, with critics intrigued yet unsettled, exhibited in surrealist salons to growing acclaim. Its legacy expanded, influencing pop art and films like Mulholland Drive, becoming a surreal icon at the Museum of Modern Art. Today, it haunts with its silence, a testament to love's fragile veil. Close your eyes. Feel the cloth's soft press, hear the silence of their kiss, see the shadows merge. This is more than a painting, it's a love entombed. Magritte's brush lingers, whispering, in their embrace find your heart, or fade into the veil. Imagine a sky raining men in bowler hats, floating serenely above a quiet town. Golconda, painted by René Magritte in 1953, hooks you with a surreal paradox. Are these figures falling or suspended, and what does their uniformity hide? Some say it was inspired by a dream of anonymous conformity, a vision that gripped Magritte in his later years. Let's ascend into this strange reign. Magritte crafted this in his Brussels home in 1953 at age 55, a time of reflection amid post-war stability. His emotional state was a blend of irony and melancholy, inspired by the surrealist challenge to reality and his obsession with the everyday turned bizarre, sparked by his wartime experiences. Struggling with health issues and the art world's evolving tastes, he painted with a deliberate pace, each figure a meditation on identity. This work, some suggest, was a commentary on society, painted amid the hum of a radio broadcasting Cold War news. The process was a hypnotic cascade of repetition. Magritte applied oil on canvas with a storyteller's intent, layering soft grays for the sky, muted browns for the hats and the town's earthy tones, creating a composition that blends the mundane with the uncanny. His brushstrokes, uniform and precise, render the bowler-hatted men with photographic clarity, their floating forms, achieved through subtle perspective shifts, create a unique rhythm, as if the canvas breathes with an endless fall. The tension between the orderly figures and the chaotic sky builds a cinematic wonder, pulling you into a dreamlike vortex. Historically, 1953 Europe recovered from World War II, with Belgium embracing modernity amid Cold War fears. Magritte, influenced by surrealism's peak and existential philosophy, reflected a society questioning individuality in a conformist age, shaped by the post-war economic boom and mass culture's rise. Socially, it mirrored the era's fascination with anonymity, a visual echo of the suburban sprawl. Symbolism flows. The men might represent lost souls or societal drones, the rain a metaphor for endless repetition or existential drift, while the town hints at normalcy's fragility. Interpreters see it as Magritte's critique of conformity, a personal reflection on his own anonymity, or a universal meditation on identity's loss. Some suggest it's a wartime memory, figures falling like bombs turned human. Initially, Golconda intrigued 1950s audiences, with critics praising its wit but debating its meaning, exhibited to growing surrealist acclaim. Its legacy soared, influencing pop art and films like The Truman Show, becoming a cultural touchstone at the Mental Collection. Today, it challenges with its stillness, a rain that never lands. Close your eyes. Feel the hats brush your face, hear the silent fall, see the sky hold its breath. This is more than a scene, it's a dream suspended. Magritte's hand lingers, whispering, "In their fall, find your place, or drift forever." Imagine a man gazing at his own back, a mirror reflecting an infinite regression of selves. The Infinite Recognition, painted by René Magritte in 1963, hooks you with a mind-bending mystery. Is this self-awareness or a trap of endless reflection? Some say it was Magritte's late-life meditation on mortality, a vision born from his own fading image. Let's step into this endless loop. Magritte created this in his Brussels studio in 1963, at 65, a year shadowed by declining health. His emotional state was a mix of acceptance and curiosity, inspired by surrealism's exploration of identity and his obsession with mirrors as portals to the self, rooted in his mother's veiled death. Struggling with physical frailty and the art world's shifting focus, he painted with a contemplative slowness, each figure a fragment of his soul. This work, some suggest, was a farewell, painted amid the soft glow of a lamp in his quiet room. The process was a mesmerizing spiral of self. Magritte applied oil on canvas with a philosopher's touch, layering soft browns for the suits, muted grays for the background and the mirror's reflective sheen, creating a composition that folds reality into itself. His brushstrokes, precise and layered, render the figures with eerie realism. The infinite regression, achieved through masterful perspective, creates a unique depth, as if the canvas stretches into eternity. The tension between the man's gaze and the endless backs builds a cinematic pull, drawing you into a vortex of identity. Historically, 1963 Europe was a time of cultural reflection, with Belgium stable yet marked by Cold War anxieties. Magritte, influenced by surrealism's legacy and existentialism, reflected a society pondering self in a mechanized age, shaped by post-war identity crises. Socially, it mirrored the era's fascination with perception, a visual echo of the television age's mirrored selves. Symbolism resonates. The mirror might signify self-knowledge or illusion, the infinite figures a metaphor for eternal recurrence or lost identity, while the gaze hints at recognition or despair. Interpreters see it as Magritte's self-portrait of mortality, a meditation on seeing oneself fully, or a universal quest for meaning. Some suggest it's a nod to his mother, her absence mirrored in this endless chain. Initially, the infinite recognition puzzled 1960s viewers, with critics admiring its depth but debating its intent, exhibited to growing acclaim. Its legacy expanded, influencing conceptual art and films like Inception, becoming a surreal landmark at private collections. Today, it haunts with its silence, a reflection that never ends. Close your eyes. Feel the mirror's cool surface, hear the echo of footsteps, see the selves fade into shadow. This is more than a painting, it's a soul's infinity. Magritte's brush lingers, whispering, in your reflection, find your end, or wander forever.